Discover the incredible 1-hour heartwarming journey to life-changing billionaire success. Unveil your potential while embracing the struggles shared by Alex Reynolds, a relentless single mother in the charming town of Maplewood. Every Saturday morning, as the sun stretched its golden arms across the sleepy Midwestern town, Alex Reynolds took a breath of fresh hope. She and her 8-year-old daughter, Lily, made their way to the local farmers' market, their laughter ringing like music through the air. Vibrant stalls, shouts of cheerful vendors, and the sweet aroma of fresh peaches filled the senses. This was their moment, a sanctuary amidst the chaos of juggling 2 jobs just to stay afloat. Yet, the shadows of judgment from neighbors always haunted her. Whispers of gossip that cut as deep as any words could. Today felt different, though. There was a spark in the air. Alex's heart raced when she heard about the vendor competition to showcase new local products. It was an opportunity, a lifeline. Her homemade organic skincare line, born out of her pure love for Lily and dedication to her craft, could finally shine. The thought fueled her determination as ideas began flooding her mind. As she sat at a picnic table, brainstorming, her friends from the neighborhood gathered around her. Their faces lit up with excitement, the air buzzing with constructive chatter. They pulled out materials, offered encouragement, and brainstormed. Just when the weight of her struggles seemed too heavy, the warmth of community surrounded her, providing a much-needed boost. But as hope soared, so too did envy. A rival business owner, threatened by Alex's dream, resorted to underhanded tactics. Days before her presentation, Alex found her supplies damaged, sabotaged. Doubts crept in like a cold shiver. Had she been foolish to believe she could rise above being just a struggling single mother? What if society had branded her forever, the weight of stigma too heavy to break free? In her desperation, she met Hank, a veteran whose quiet strength resonated within her. With every simple word he shared of his battles, Alex felt a flicker of resilience return. Hank had fought through storms, and although they were different, their struggles mirrored each other. He reminded her that community could be her greatest ally. The day of the presentation arrived, and with it, her heart thundered in her chest. Standing before a sea of faces, some doubtful, some curious, she opened up. Tears welled in her eyes as she shared her journey, her fears, and most importantly, her dreams. The crowd began to shift. Heartstrings tugged, hope began to build, and whispers of admiration circulated like wildfire. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just when Alex began to feel the tide turning, a sense of unease washed over her at the sight of a mysterious figure. A billionaire investor had arrived, his presence both exhilarating and intimidating. Would he see the potential beyond her struggles? Could he be the key to unlocking a future she dared to dream of? As she stood, shaken yet determined, a text message pinged on her phone, slicing through her thoughts. I want to talk. It's time we faced each other. An unknown number. Heart racing, she wondered if it was her estranged father. The complexities of her past hung heavy, threatening to overshadow her present. Would she find the courage to embrace this pivotal moment, not just for her dreams, but for the bonds of family she had longed for? Alex took a deep breath. In that moment, everything felt amplified: the warmth of the sun on her skin, the whispers of the crowd, and the racing thoughts in her mind. She glanced at Lily, who was beaming with pride as she clutched one of Alex's handmade moisturizers. Everything Alex had worked for was distilled into this moment, yet now it was intertwined with the flash of a past she thought she'd buried. As the presentation continued, she tried to focus. The billionaire's dark hair caught the sunlight as he moved towards her booth, eyes sharp and watchful. He was known as Carter Blake, a name that echoed in the business world like a storm, stirring both fear and admiration. Her heart raced not just with anxiety, it danced with possibility. What if he could see her potential? What if he could help turn her dreams into reality? But the text lingered in her mind. It's time we faced each other. It struck her like a thunderclap. There was so much at stake, not just her business aspirations, but a connection she had longed for since her father walked away over a decade ago. She shook her head slightly, trying to clear out the jumbled emotions. No time for distractions. Alex, your product is fascinating. Carter's voice broke through her thoughts, smooth and commanding. I'd love to hear about how you started this journey. With that, a spark ignited within her. She shared her story, how she had turned Lily's sensitivity to harsh chemicals into a passion for creating safe, organic skincare. As she spoke, she saw the thoughtful nods from those in the crowd, and even Lily's bright eyes shining with admiration. The shadows of self-doubt began to lift. Carter leaned in, intrigued. You have something special here. But, can you handle the pressure of scaling? This isn't a hobby, it's a business. His words hung in the air, daunted by the enormity of truth. I can, she asserted, voice stronger than she felt. Every moment I spend working on this is for my daughter. I want to build a legacy, something real for her. The sincerity in her voice surprised even her. Behind her, she felt the warmth of her friends' presence, their silent support bolstering her courage. Whatever fears they had made her endure, coiling around her heart, didn't matter anymore. Today wasn't just about her skincare line, it was about daring to dream, about redefining her life in ways she never imagined. Just as she concluded, the unexpected ping of her phone interrupted her thoughts again. Nervous, she pulled it out. There it was, another text. Meet me at the old diner at noon tomorrow. We need to talk. The chill of uncertainty gripped her again. Who was this person? Why now? The crowd was cheering now, and she turned back, cheeks flushed with hope and determination. The investor was still watching her, and he stepped forward. I want to discuss potential collaboration, but we need to talk about your past, too. Alex swallowed hard, knowing she was on the cusp of change but teetering at an edge. Would she dare to open that door? Would she confront her past and let it shape her future? For Alex, the stakes had never been higher. As the crowd's excitement buzzed, so too did her internal battle. She wasn't just fighting for her business anymore, she was battling the ghosts of her past. Could she face them head-on? As she pushed the thoughts aside, a single question echoed in her mind: could she manage the impossible? The answer, her heart whispered, lay just beyond the horizon of the next day. The morning sun streamed through the window, bathing Alex's small kitchen in a warm glow. She stirred her coffee, watching the steam curl upward, and felt the weight of the message from last night settle into her chest like a stone. The old diner where time slowed and memories lingered wasn't just a place, it was a chapter of her past she had tried so hard to close. But now, it beckoned her back. Lily sat at the table, her cereal untouched, sensing the storm brewing inside her mother. Are you okay, Mom? Her small voice broke through the haze. Alex forced a smile, trying to summon enough positivity to calm her daughter's worry. Yeah, sweetie. Just a lot on my mind today. Is it about the big man from yesterday? The one who liked your creams? Lily's innocent curiosity made Alex's heart soar and ache at once. She wanted to reassure her, to show her that they were moving toward a brighter future. Sort of, honey. I need to go to a meeting today. Lily's big eyes sparkled with hope. Are you going to be a billionaire? Can I have a unicorn if you do? Alex couldn't help but chuckle, the tension in her chest easing just a bit. I promise, if I become a billionaire, you'll be the first to have a unicorn. After a quick breakfast, Alex walked Lily to school. The sun still high, illuminating the pathway as they chatted about everything and nothing. Each step felt heavier as they approached the school, like the earth knew how significant today could be. Mom, be brave, Lily said suddenly, looking up at her with those innocent eyes. I know you can do it. Her heart swelled, a rush of warmth and strength flowing through her. I will, kiddo. For you. She hugged Lily tightly, holding on to that moment, the tether of her love. As Alex drove to the diner, she replayed every word Carter had said yesterday, the way he had leaned in, genuinely interested. Did he see something in her that she didn't see? A vision beyond the one she had struggled to create. Her heart thudded against her ribcage, a mix of fear and excitement swirling together. Pulling into the parking lot of the diner, she noticed the familiar neon sign flickering, memories cascading back in waves. The laughter, the arguments, the heartbreak. The shame of her past weighed heavily, but today felt different. Today was about forging a new path, one where she didn't have to carry that burden alone. She stepped inside, the bell chiming overhead, and the scent of coffee and pancakes flooded over her like an embrace from a long-lost friend. Her eyes scanned the room and landed on a figure seated in the corner booth. It was him. Carter Blake, looking uncharacteristically relaxed, dressed casually yet undeniably confident. "Alex, I'm glad you came," he said with a nod as she approached. There was a softness to his demeanor that made her a little less nervous. He gestured for her to sit. This was it. No turning back now. "Before we dive into the business side, I want to ask about your past." His voice was steady, but his eyes had an intensity that sent a shiver through her. "Your journey matters. It's part of your story." With her heart pounding, Alex realized she couldn't escape it. Facing the ghosts, the hurt, the choices that had defined her was inevitable. And in this moment, she could either fold or stand tall. "Let us talk," she said, swallowing the lump in her throat. "But you might not like what you hear." As they spoke, Alex felt the weight of her past shifting. Could this be the beginning of a transformation not just for her business but for her heart? What would Carter find in the shadows she had kept hidden? The cafe's laughter faded into a muffled background as the conversation grew deeper. The stakes were rising again. Would she find absolution or more entanglement in her reopening of doors long neglected? As the sun dipped lower in the sky outside, something shifted inside her. A force, a commitment to face whatever came next. But as Carter leaned in, his expression turning serious, Alex knew the true battle was just beginning. "I grew up in this diner," Alex began, her voice low, barely above a whisper. Memories flooded her, and she took a deep breath, steadying herself. "This place was everything to me. It's where I first learned about life, love, loss, everything." Carter listened intently, nodding, and she noted a hint of compassion in his expression. With every word, she felt the chains of her past loosening, but the weight remained. "My mother worked here. She loved it, even when things got tough. I wanted to follow in her footsteps, to stand tall like her. But life didn't turn out like that." "What happened?" he asked, his brow furrowed but his tone gentle. She hesitated, contemplating whether she wanted to reveal the scars that marked her journey. But deep down, she knew that honesty was the only way forward. "I made some huge mistakes. Choices that hurt me and the people I loved. I thought I could escape, but it just followed me like a shadow. I thought I could leave it behind when I moved away, but I never really did." The revelation hung in the air between them, a mix of vulnerability and hesitation. Carter leaned in closer. "And now? What changes are you trying to make?" Her heart raced. "I'm trying to build something, a future for my daughter. I want her to believe that we can be more than what we were handed." Carter's eyes glimmered with understanding. "What if I told you that you don't have to face this alone? We all have shadows, Alex. It doesn't matter what happened in the past, what matters is what you choose to do now." She felt a flicker of hope swell inside her, battling against years of doubt. Could he really see her? Not just as she was, but as who she could become. "I want to be brave," she confessed, a knot forming in her throat. "But sometimes, it feels impossible." "Bravery isn't the absence of fear," Carter said softly. "It's doing what needs to be done despite it." In that moment, Alex felt a connection deeper than she had anticipated. Maybe this was the freedom she craved, a chance to stop running from her past and start building a future. A loud crash from the kitchen diverted their attention, jolting her out of the moment. The sounds of laughter turned into a frenzy, and a waitress shouted over the clatter. "Is everyone okay back there? Just another day at the diner." They both laughed, the tension eased into a moment of shared joy. "See." Carter grinned, even life as chaos can create warmth. But the mood shifted quickly, the weight of their conversation pulling them back, and Alex realized it wasn't just about her. It was about Lily too. "I need to provide for her," she said, urgency creeping into her voice. "Let us brainstorm," Carter suggested, leaning back in his seat, his eyes sparkling with determination. "What is one dream that feels tangible, even if it scares you?" She paused, feeling the gears turning in her mind. "I want to open a small boutique. A place that reflects the beauty of everyday life, one that inspires people to embrace their past while looking toward the future." His smile widened. "Now you're talking. That is a dream worth pursuing. You've got this, Alex, and I'm willing to help." The sincerity in his eyes ignited a flicker of courage. Was this really happening? Could she count on someone to believe in her? But before she could answer, the door swung open and in walked someone from her past. A ghost she had hoped to leave behind. The shock was palpable, and the warm glow from their earlier conversation dimmed instantly. What would happen now? Would the past catch up to her, pulling her back down? As the familiar figure approached, uncertainty knotted in her stomach. Would she stand her ground, or would the weight of her history pull her under once more? Alex's heart pounded, a steady drumline that drowned out the chatter and clatter of the diner. She couldn't believe her eyes. As the figure came closer, every line of his face flashed memories like an old film reel, the laughter and the heartache, the moments she thought time had erased. "Mark," she whispered, her breath catching in her throat. He took another step closer, and the shift in his presence felt electric. Was it warmth or a storm brewing? "Hey, Alex," he said, his voice low and slightly uncertain. The room felt smaller suddenly, the chaos around them fading into the background. "What are you doing here?" she managed to ask, trying to keep her tone steady, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. I just came to get a bite to eat," he replied, looking around as if the weight of the diner's memories pressed heavy on his shoulders. The waitress, drawn in by the tension, awkwardly brought over their drinks, her eyes darting between them. "Everything okay here?" she asked. "Yeah, just an old friend," Alex said, plastering on a smile, one that felt brittle, like it could shatter at any moment. Mark's gaze shifted between her and Carter, a questioning look in his eyes. That tiny flash of jealousy or maybe concern didn't go unnoticed by Alex, and the knot in her stomach twisted tighter. "Carter, this is Mark, an old acquaintance from a different time," she said, trying to hold onto the words, keeping the tremors of vulnerability buried. "Nice to meet you," Carter said, the warmth in his voice unmistakable, but Alex could feel the edge creeping in. "Likewise," Mark replied, though his eyes were keen on Alex, seeking answers that she wasn't sure how to give. "Can we talk?" Mark's voice was softer now, an invitation tinged with urgency. Alex looked to Carter, searching for reassurance in his eyes. Was this the moment she had to confront her past? Or did she push it away once more? "Sure," she finally said, the words feeling heavy as she slid out of the booth. As they stepped outside, the warmth of the diner faded into the brisk evening air. Alex swallowed hard, unsure of what this moment would bring. Would they revisit the past, or was it time to finally confront the future? "Alex, I've missed you," he said, his hands shoved deep into his jacket pockets, a slight tremor in his voice that hinted at unspoken words. She recoiled slightly, caught off guard. "Missing me doesn't change what happened, Mark. Or the choices we made. I know. But things have changed." "I've changed," he pressed, his eyes searching hers for a flicker of hope. She wanted to believe him, but those old wounds still ached, unhealed and raw. "It's not that simple," she shot back, emotions swirling within her like a tempest, battling against the calm she had just begun to establish. "Maybe it can be simple," he replied, desperation flooding his tone. "What if I told you that I want to help?" "I want help?" She interrupted, her heart racing. You think you can just walk back into my life, into Lily's life, and act like everything is fine. You don't know what we've been through. A painful silence fell between them, the weight of their shared history pressing down on them like the closing of a door. What is it that really scares you? He asked, softer now, a vulnerability unfolding in his expression. The question hung in the air, and in that moment, she felt raw, exposed to the truth she had avoided for years. Would she dare to answer? Before she could respond, Carter stepped outside, placing a supportive hand on her shoulder. Alex, you don't have to do this. Remember your promise for yourself and for Lily. Her mind raced as she glanced between the two men, each representing parts of her past and future. She could feel the shift. A decision stood before her like a wall, and she had to choose, would she break through or turn away? The choice felt monumental, and as uncertainty swirled between them, she realized this moment might just define her future. What path would she choose to take? Before she could find the words, Mark stepped closer, a plea in his eyes. Please, just give me a chance to prove I'm not who I used to be. Alex's heart raced again, a tumult of feelings conflicting within her. Was she ready to let him back in? Or was this the last tie to her past that she needed to cut? Now, standing on this precipice, she had one question swirling in her mind: could she trust him again, or would this be another mistake? The air felt electrified with potential, each heartbeat echoing a more profound decision waiting to unfold. Alex. Mark's voice broke through her thoughts, pulling her back into the moment. She noticed how close he was now, the worry etched in the lines of his face. I'm serious about wanting to help, he continued, vulnerability shining through his uncertainty. I don't know if I can believe that, she replied, feeling her walls start to crack under the intensity of his gaze. You left once. What's stopping you from doing it again? He shook his head, a hint of desperation flickering in his eyes. I should have never left. I know that now. I've spent the last few years trying to fix my mistakes to become a better person. The cool evening air felt heavy with unspoken memories. Alex glanced at Carter, who stood a few feet away, his presence a soothing reminder of her new life. She wished he could change the tension that choked her, but she knew this was a conversation that needed to happen, even if it felt like digging up years of pain. That doesn't erase the past, she said quietly, her heart fluttering wildly. You think I can just wave a magic wand and forget everything? No, I don't expect that, Mark hurried to reassure her. But maybe we can start fresh, just the two of us. I want to show you that I'm different now. Different how? Alex asked, crossing her arms, feeling the chill seep through her shirt. What proof do you have? Words mean nothing. Mark took a step back, as if gathering himself. I'm in therapy. I'm working on my issues. I've been trying to learn from my past, from my mistakes. I want to understand what I did wrong, not just for me, but for you and Lily too. Carter cleared his throat, stepping forward. Alex, you've built a life for yourself, a good life. You're strong, but don't forget what you promised. You put Lily first, and that's the most important thing. Torn between the history she knew and the future she was trying to build, Alex felt the rawness in her throat intensify. This isn't just about me. It's about Lily. She deserves stability. She deserves to feel safe. Mark nodded, his eyes earnest. Exactly. And I want to help provide that. I want to be there for her. Just give me a chance to prove it. What if she could find it in her heart to forgive? A flicker of hope sparked within her, but it felt fragile, like a candle struggling against the wind. Alex, think about it, Mark pressed gently. I'm not asking for everything right now. Just a conversation. Let us talk about what you need, what Lily needs. I want to be part of that. The silence hung heavy, a torrent of emotion swirling inside her. She took a deep breath, the cold air filling her lungs like icy water. What would she lose if she opened that door? Could she allow him back in again? She started, but her voice faltered. Would it be worth the risk? Suddenly, the diner door swung open, and a voice called out, bringing Alex back to her senses. Alex! Mark! You both okay? It was Sarah, her friend from the neighborhood, her cheerful demeanor a stark contrast to the tension of the moment. Mark turned slightly to greet her, giving Alex a moment to crystallize her thoughts. We're fine, he said, but his eyes stayed on Alex, waiting for her answer. As Sarah approached, laughter in her voice, Alex felt the weight of the decision pressed down on her like a vice. What was her next move? With her heart racing and her mind swirling, she asked herself one last question: how could she move forward if her past kept whispering in her ear? As they all stood in the chill of the evening, Alex felt the moment slip away, but she had to decide. The choice wasn't just about them anymore, it could change everything. Would she let Mark back in, or would she seal her past away for good? The answer lingered in the air, heavy and unresolved. The moment hung in the air, heavy and charged, like the stillness before a storm. Alex's heart pounded loudly in her chest, competing with the laughter that floated from Sarah. She could feel the warmth of her friend's good nature, but the chill of her past clung to her like an old, unwelcome coat that she couldn't shake off. Hey, what's up? Sarah asked, glancing between Alex and Mark, an inquisitive smile dancing on her lips. Mark shifted his weight, his gaze still fixed on Alex. Just talking about old times, he said, but the truth was etched in his posture. He was waiting, hoping for an opening. So, are you two okay? Sarah pressed, genuinely concerned. You look pretty serious. With an effort, Alex forced a smile, trying to erase the shadows from her face. We're fine, just figuring some things out. She felt like she was holding back a flood, a surge of emotions fighting to break free. Ah, good. Sarah's bright demeanor returned. We've got the best pie in town waiting for us inside, and I can't wait for you to try it. Mark chuckled softly, breaking the tension just enough. Never knew pie could be that persuasive. Trust me, it is, Sarah grinned, nodding toward the diner. Alex wished it were that simple. The night's chill seeped through her, adding weight to her thoughts. Mark's proposal loomed over her like a dark cloud. Could she really consider letting him back in? He was right, she had built this life, this fragile, beautiful world for herself and Lily. But was it fair to deny the possibility of change, of redemption? Why don't you both join me? Sarah suggested, unaware of the internal battle raging within Alex. Carter is not going to stop me from having a good time. With a breath that felt like it came from the very depths of her soul, Alex glanced at Mark. His eyes held so many apologies, yearning, and maybe even desperation. She would have to make her choice soon. Maybe just for a slice of pie, she finally said, her voice steadier than she felt. Relief washed over Mark's features, a flicker of a smile breaking through his anxious gaze. I'd like that. As they walked towards the entrance of the diner, Alex felt an array of emotions coiling within her. She searched for stability, a sense of what was right. Each step forward felt heavier than the last as she fought against the hope that threatened to bubble up. Inside, the aroma of warm baked goods surrounded them, comforting and inviting. But there was a bittersweet edge to it. Alex took a seat at the small booth, her hands clasped tightly together. Sarah dove into chatter about their friends, but Lex couldn't focus. She felt like she was stuck in a snow globe, watching her world swirl around her, yet unable to escape the thoughts that consumed her. Mark sat across from her, his eyes searching hers. He seemed determined to say something, to cut through the noise. Alex, if you're willing, I'd love to talk about what it would look like us moving forward. Together. His words struck deeper than anyone else could know. She bit her lip, caught between fear and the flickering light of possibility. Before she could respond, Carter stepped inside, shaking off the cold air. Hey! You guys made it! His cheerful voice echoed. The moment stretched yet again, a thread pulled taut. Alex caught Mark's gaze, and for that brief second, it felt like the world stopped. Could she truly open this door, or would it swing shut, locking her past away forever? As the laughter of her friends filled the diner, Alex held her breath, feeling the weight of their choosing settling around her. Would she take that risk? Or would she keep her heart sealed tight, afraid to face what lay beyond? As Sarah leaned in, excitement sparkling in her eyes, Alex felt the choice pressing in on her. The question lingered, rapid in her chest, waiting for the moment to break free. Would she dare to hope again? As laughter danced around the diner, Alex felt both cocooned and exposed. The bright lights flickered above, casting a warm glow that seemed to mock the turmoil inside her. She could hear Carter talking about his latest project, his voice filled with enthusiasm, but all she could do was nod, a mere spectator in a scene that should have felt comforting. Mark's presence was a constant weight on her heart. His eyes held stories of their shared past, moments of joy intertwined with pain, laughter shadowed by heartbreak. The pie Sarah raved about cooled on the table, untouched, as Alex's thoughts spiraled in 1,000 directions. What would a future with Mark look like? Was it truly feasible, or just a dream dressed in the fabric of nostalgia? Alex? Carter's voice broke through her reverie. Are you okay? You seem a million miles away. That simple question, so innocent yet so loaded, sent her reeling. Yeah, just thinking. Sarah, noticing the shift, reached out and squeezed Alex's hand gently. It's okay to think, you know? But don't forget to enjoy yourself too. Alex wanted to smile, to reassure her friend, but the knot in her chest tightened. It was a fine line she walked, balancing her present with the specter of her past. Each laugh from Sarah felt like a reminder of how much she longed for a simple life, stripped of complications. Just then, Mark leaned in closer, his voice low and earnest. I know this is hard for you, for us. But I want you to see that I've changed. I'm not the same person I was before. His sincerity tugged at something deep within her. She wanted to believe him, to trust that the man sitting across from her wasn't the one that had caused her so much pain. But fragility danced in her veins, and with it, the fear that opening her heart could lead to heartbreak once more. Change takes time, Mark, Alex replied, her voice barely above a whisper. I need to be sure. Take all the time you need, he said, nodding slowly as if recognizing the weight of every word. Just don't close the door entirely. I'd rather have you in my life flawed and real than not at all. His vulnerability hit like a wave, crashing over her defenses. She glanced at Sarah, who was watching the exchange with a mix of encouragement and curiosity, her mouth curved slightly in a knowing smile. The moment felt surreal, like they were both standing on the precipice of something life-altering. Silence settled over the booth, thick and heavy, as Alex weighed her options. Mark's words hung in the air, a lifeline she hadn't anticipated. Suddenly, the diner's door swung open, and a gust of cold air swept through. A woman entered, her presence bold and electric, drawing the eyes of everyone in the room. She scanned the diners, her gaze landing on their table, where Alex sat frozen in thought. Alex! The woman's voice rang out, filled with urgency and familiarity. It was a name Alex hadn't heard spoken in years. She turned, surprise washing over her. Lily. The commotion faded into a soft murmur as Alex stood up, her heart racing. The name echoed with memories, moments buried but not forgotten. A shiver ran down her spine. How could this be happening now, in this fragile moment of decision? Lily's eyes sparkled with mischief and intent, but there was something deeper, a need, a promise. We need to talk, it's important. The world tilted, and the choice before Alex shifted once again. This was her past confronting her present, and she had no idea how it would change everything. What did Lily want? And how would it affect everything she had just started to consider? Alex felt as if the ground had shifted beneath her feet. The warmth of the diner faded, replaced by a chill that ran straight to her core. Lily, with her vibrant auburn hair and confident presence, was a blast from the past. Memories fluttered in like moths to a flame, adventures, secrets, and a bond that had once felt unbreakable. Now, Alex stammered, glancing between Mark and Carter. The question hung in the air, heavy, laden with unspoken tension. Mark's expression mirrored confusion, Carter's brows knitted together in concern. "Yeah, now," Lily insisted, her voice urgent but laced with an undercurrent of excitement. "Please, just a moment. I promise it's important." The diner bustled around them, but all Alex could hear was the sound of her own heartbeat, thudding in her ears. She took a deep breath, stealing a glance at Mark. He seemed to dock his emotions, walls rising to shield his vulnerability. Would talking to Lily cast her past in shadow, overshadowing whatever fragile possibilities lingered between them? "Okay," Alex conceded, her voice steadier than she felt. She could feel the weight of everyone's gaze as she stepped away from the table, her hand instinctively brushing against her pocket. No matter what Lily had to say, the past was powerful. The ghost of their friendship loomed large. Lily led her towards a quiet corner of the diner, away from the laughter and chatter. A booth dimly lit offered them a sliver of privacy. Alex felt the space close in on her as she slid into the vinyl seat, the familiar scent of coffee and pastries swirling around them. "What's going on?" Alex asked, her voice trembling beneath the surface of urgency. Lily's eyes sparkled, but there was an intensity in them. "It's about your mom and what she left behind." Alex's breath caught in her throat. "My mom?" The words rolled off her tongue like a forgotten mantra, a name tied to grief and shadows. After her mother had passed, Alex had buried herself in grief, trying to forge ahead without the steady anchor her mother had been. "Yeah. I found something. And it's big," Lily said, urgency coloring her tone. "She wrote letters meant for you. I've been piecing them together since I found out what kind of letters." Alex's heart raced again, a mix of hope and apprehension battling inside her. Memories of her mother's gentle voice echoed in the corridors of her mind. Lily swallowed heavily, the weight of the moment evident. "She wanted you to know things, secrets about our past, about why she left certain things unresolved in her life. The kind of stuff that could change everything, Alex." The words crashed into Alex with the force of a tidal wave. Change everything. She had barely begun to contemplate her future, and now the past was pushing forward, demanding to be addressed. "I don't know if I'm ready for this," she whispered, feeling her throat tighten. Just as she was starting to think about a future with Mark, she was faced with the specter of her past. Lily leaned closer, her presence commanding yet comforting. "You deserve to know, Alex. You deserve clarity. I wouldn't have come back if it wasn't important." As doubts swirled in her mind, Alex felt the truth of Lily's words seep into her bones. But with it came the realization that diving back into her mother's past might open doors she wasn't ready to walk through. "Can I think about it?" Alex asked, her voice barely audible, as if speaking louder would shatter the fragile moment. "Of course," Lily replied, but there was a flicker of something in her eyes, anticipation, perhaps. "Just know I'm here. And whatever is in those letters might bring you some peace." Alex's heart raced, feeling tethered between what was and what could be. She slowly stood up, returning to her friends across the booth, Mark's gaze searching her face for answers she didn't have yet. But one thing was clear, her past was re-entering her life at the most complicated moment, and the choices ahead could not only reshape her present but also her potential future with Mark. As she settled back into her seat, the weight of Lily's revelation loomed in the air, calling her forward. What truths awaited her, and how would they impact everything she had just begun to reconsider? Would the letters bring understanding or open up old wounds? The tension wrapped around Alex like a second skin, and amidst the familiar diner chatter, a part of her knew she was standing on the brink of something monumental. The decision lay before her: plunge into her mother's past or continue to navigate the tenuous present. Which path would she choose? As Alex slipped back into her seat, the questions in her mind danced chaotically, swirling around her with an urgency that felt almost suffocating. Mark leaned in, concern written all over his face. "What happened?" he asked softly. She wanted to reach for the warmth in his gaze, but the weight of her mother's past hung like an anchor. "It's about my mom," was all she managed to say. Mark's eyes widened, his body drawing closer as if he could close the gap between them with sheer intent. "Do you want to talk about it?" he asked gently, and somehow that made her heart flutter with a mix of hope and hesitation. Could he really be the support she needed as she faced her fears? But just as she opened her mouth to reply, Sarah interjected, bringing the focus back to lighter topics. "Have you guys tried the pie yet? It's heavenly." "Soon, I promise," Alex replied, attempting a smile while her eyes strayed to Lily, who watched them from the corner, a poignant reminder of the past now colliding with her present. While laughter filled their booth, Alex felt suffocated beneath layer after layer of unresolved memories and emotions. Her mother's letters loomed large in her thoughts. Could they truly offer her the clarity Lily believed they would? With a deep breath, Alex steeled herself. She knew that whatever secrets lay within those letters could alter everything, perhaps even the dynamics between her, Lily, and Mark. "Excuse me, everyone," she suddenly said, her voice slicing through the banter like a knife. "I need to take a moment." Concerned eyes followed her as she stood up, and she felt their weight on her shoulders, both comforting and suffocating. Alex led the way to the diner's exit, the fresh night air wrapping around her like a familiar blanket. Mark fell in step beside her. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice low, concern lacing every syllable. I need to figure this out," she said, frustrations bubbling beneath. "Lily found some letters from my mom. It's all so much." Mark paused, searching her expression. "You don't have to go through this alone, Alex. Whatever it is, I'll be here." She appreciated his support, but some walls still stood tall in her heart, built from years of hurt. "It's complicated. But you should hear what your mom wanted to say. This could be a way for you to connect with her again," he urged. That struck a chord. Did she really want to dive into her mother's memories, knowing it could bring pain? Could it also bring forgiveness? "Lily believes it could provide answers," Alex admitted, her words tinged with uncertainty. "But what do you believe?" Mark inquired, stepping closer. At that moment, something shifted within her. The future she wanted for herself and Lily was bright, but it needed roots that understood the land from which they came. "I believe it's time to face my past," she whispered, the conviction building inside her. As they headed back into the diner, determination filled Alex's heart. She would confront the truth, not just for herself, but for Lily. The letters had the potential to weave their history in a way that made sense, a foundation that could support their future. In the booth, Sarah chatted about plans for the weekend, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface. She felt Mark's gaze lingering on her, a flicker of encouragement lighting his features. "I'll read the letters," Alex finally decided, her voice ringing with newfound strength. "And I'll share them with you, Lily. We'll do this together." Lily's face lit up with relief. "You mean it?" she asked, eyes wide with hope. "Absolutely," Alex affirmed, her heart swelling with fierce determination. "Whatever we uncover, it's ours to share. Let us embrace our past, and with it, our future." As they all sat back down, the warmth of the diner returned, wrapping around them like a big hug. A new chapter was unfolding, highlighting the strength found in vulnerability, the promise of new beginnings intertwined with the lessons of their past. Mark reached for her hand, fingers intertwining with hers. Each touch felt grounding, a connection that signaled acceptance of both old and new. "Whatever happens, we face it together," he said, his voice steady and sure. With a sense of unity blossoming among them, Alex finally felt she was exactly where she needed to be. Together, they would rewrite their narrative, one full of hope, healing, and courage. And as the pie arrived, laughter and sweet camaraderie filled the air again. For the first time in a long while, Alex felt the shadows fading, not lost, but transformed into stepping stones toward a future she now believed was not just a dream, but an inspiring reality. She had stepped back into her past to forge a brighter tomorrow. Now, it was time to embrace that path alongside her family. As she looked around at the faces of her daughter, Mark, and her friends, she took a deep breath, feeling hope surge within her. It was there, all of it. The past, the present, and the beautiful unknown that lay ahead, and just like that, life felt as sweet as the pie they were about to enjoy. If you think this transformation is inspiring, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support and join our journey. So leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let everyone know you believe in powerful stories. Comment below with your own feelings about this incredible journey and how you relate to Alex's transformation. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this inspiring story of hope and resilience.